Welcome, dear students. Welcome once again to online video lectures. As you know, we are continuing our chapter number 20, which has the title of Disaster Management. In this section, we have already completed the types of disasters. They are natural disasters and man induced. We have discussed regarding the flood and important points to do and not to do during the condition of flood and during the condition of cyclone. Today we'll talk about tsunami. So you might be knowing some information of regarding tsunamis. Tsunamis are the destructive waves which cause great damage to the seacoast areas and nearby places. You might be knowing that in 2004, 26th December, there has been a tsunami which hit the southern peninsular plateau of India, and nearly more than thousands people died in this tsunami, and many of the properties were lost, and it was a very critical conditions for the Indian people. Let us see what happens actually in tsunami. The tsunami is the destruction done with the powerful sea waves. This condition is known as tsunami. They are generated at the sea bottom due to the earthquake having a rating of 7 or more on the Richter scale. Second thing, they can also be caused because of volcanic eruptions with in sea or by a large scale landslide on the ocean floor. So for tsunamis, three factors are responsible. Number one is earthquake at the sea, bottom level of the sea. Second thing is volcanic eruptions, that too in the bottom level of the sea. And third thing, due to the landslide on the ocean floors. The exact meaning of tsunami is destructive waves. Tsunami is a Japanese word which means destructive waves. Tsunami occurs mostly due to the earthquake on the ocean bed, so they are also known as oceanic earthquake waves. These waves travel very fast in circular pattern from the place of their origin. So if they are originating in the place, the waves will travel in a circular pattern, and when they reach the coast, these shorter wave heights are changed into greater wave heights like a wall, which will cause devastations on the sea coast and nearby areas. In deep sea, these waves are not seen distinctly due to their shorter wave heights, but when they approach coast and shallow sea, they turn into devastating form. So in the inside of the sea, the height of the waves are very small. We cannot recognize that tsunami has occurred, but when they will reach the coast, it will turn into a big high wave heights, and they will take a devastating form. The velocity reduces near coast, but the height increases. So the waves surge ahead in the form of a wall near sea coast and cause devastation. So when they reach the sea coast, they turn into a wall like thing which cause damage on the sea coast and the nearby areas. More than 2 lakh people died from Thailand, India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka and other southeastern countries when there was a destructive tsunami which hit on the peninsular southern region on 26th December 2004. India was also the victim of such tsunami along with Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka and the other southeastern countries. There were nearly 30,000 deaths recorded in India. At present, with the development of with the modern equipments, we can make a forecast about the tsunamis. So tsunamis can be predicted, and we can prevent the deaths and property loss which is caused by the tsunamis. Now let us discuss about the things we have to do during a tsunami and what things we should avoid doing during a tsunami condition. The first thing is, whenever there is a tsunami warning, move yourself to a safer place which is quietly far about 30 to 40 kilometers away from the sea coast. That place would be more safer than the areas which are near to the sea coast. You should keep a radio handy, and you have to act according to the instruction received from the authorities. Do not follow the rumors which are spread on the social medias or by mouth to mouth advertisements. Only you should concentrate on the instructions which are given by the authorities and the government. Whenever you are constructing a new building and societies near the sea coast, you should take consideration that the building and societies can carry out the impact of the tsunami and give us less loss of life and property. Mangroves reduce the overall impact of tsunamis, so attempts should be made to expand their span. So mangroves plantations help the tsunami waves to cause less destruction. So we should make attempts to grow more and more mangroves near the seacoast areas and the places nearby, so that we can avoid the destruction of the tsunamis. Now, two things we have to avoid during the tsunami conditions. First one is, do not take shelter in the tall buildings, because they may collapse and cause damage when the destructive waves will hit those buildings. Second thing is, do not try to go on the sea beaches after the tsunami has receded, because the earthquakes can occur again and those tsunami conditions may occur once again. So you should avoid going to the sea beaches unless and until there has been instruction given by the authorities. So tsunami is a condition when lot of water is spread in the areas which are near to the sea coast. Now we'll talk about the drought. Drought is a totally different situation than tsunami. We have lot of water in the societies which are present in the nearby areas of the sea coast. Drought is an opposite conditions when there is a scarcity of the water. Not only near the sea coast areas, it could be there in any of the region of the country. A drought is a highly destructive hazard, leaving a long-lasting impact. It is connected with water and food, which are the basic necessities of the living organisms. The problem of drought occurs in the region where there is less rainfall, irregular rainfall, or scanty rainfall. This is so because the agriculture crops, food grains, and living organisms depend completely on water. If there is no water, no productions in the agriculture can be carried out. Irrigation process will be totally stopped. We cannot get proper food to eat, and there will be a scarcity of food and water. The shortage is created due to water crisis. Under such conditions, heavy damage is done to agriculture and natural vegetation. Earlier, many people died of starvation during a drought, but now it could be reduced due to transportation and well-planned management. There was a drought condition which was felt by the Indian peoples after the independence, when nearly thousands of people died. Exact numbers are missing at present, but we will discuss about the exact numbers later on. But in the thousands of people were died during the drought conditions. During that time, after independence, the government was not having facilities to provide water to each and every part of the nation, and we had less wells, ponds, lakes, tube wells, and other necessary things which are helpful in the irrigation, like canals and other equipments, transportation and planning management. There was lack of all these things, so people faced the problem of drought and famine and lost their life. Now, what are the things we have to follow during the drought conditions? First of all, we should follow the drip irrigation method of agriculture, which takes very less water and gives us nice production of agriculture. Second thing is, food rationing and use of water should be planned after estimating their availability. Consumption of food and consumption of water, use of water we can say, it should be planned very judiciously, so that it can be available for each and every one of our country for today also and in the future also. Arrangement should be made for fair price distribution of food grains and relief work. Whenever there is a drought conditions, the people who are facing those problems should get food grains at a fair price, and they should also get some relief work. Construction activity should be stopped except for the inevitable work. All those things which are not taken into consideration or which are not very important, such things should be stopped, and total concentration should be done on developing our agricultural technologies, irrigation processes, and the production of agricultural crops, so that the conditions of drought could be made normal, and the life could be more easy for the natives of Indians. Two things are there which should not be done during the drought condition. First thing is, we should not waste food. To prevent the waste food, we should not hold large scale dinner parties. Parties should be totally stopped. We should save food as much as possible. We should provide food for the poor peoples, those who are having scarcity of the food. And second thing is, citizens should not hoard food grains or fodders. Hoarding means keeping the food in advance for the full year or for the 2 years, which is not necessity. We should not do the hoarding process. Collecting and keeping food grains in large quantities, which could be available for a single family for nearly 2 to 3 years, is not good. They should store such amount of food grains and other requirements which is good for them for short period of time, and such things should be avoided, so that the food grains and other requirements are available for each and every person who are living in the society. Life of all the peoples living in India should be made easier and acceptable. So these were the conditions of drought, what the things you have to follow and what you should avoid. And we also discuss about the tsunamis. So you should collect more information regarding tsunamis and drought, and you should get a complete knowledge about these two natural disasters and how peoples manage these disasters and overcome these problems which are created naturally and live a comfortable life. So that's all for today. Let us meet in the next video with a new topic.